And this wall isn't really that straight, as you can see right there. It kind of zigzags right there, and it continues down this way into another peculiar feature, a bog. And this is actually one of two bogs that this stonework goes through. The wall from that giant tree comes down into this bog and goes across and up over bedrock right there. What's interesting about this wall, you'll see in certain sections, it is built directly onto bedrock. It could be that this is heavily buried and you can't see where it rests on bedrock currently. That's just a guess, but where you can see bedrock, you see the wall sitting directly on it as if it was built when there was just bedrock exposed. That's a wild theory, but I mean, it's there. This wall also incorporates giant boulders such as that right there, that one right there, that one right there, that one right there, and squarish blocks that really don't have any signs of quarry marks. That's a very common aspect of these walls in this area. You see square stones but no evidence of quarry marks, or if they were here, they have just been eroded over time. Started at that giant tree, followed the stonework through the bog, up over bedrock and down this slope, and it ends right here. This is a little stream that cuts through a mountain notch across this little spring right here. This stone row begins here and travels up over this way to a old mountain notch pass. Another common feature with possible ceremonial stone landscapes, place stones within little windows like that. And that's a common feature right there, that triangle shape. I missed it over there, but there's another one over here. I'll show you that on my way out. It's pretty close to that shape right there. The stone row comes to a point right here on top of this boulder, and the stone row itself is sitting on exposed bedrock. Like I point out in different areas along this stonework, it sits directly on the bedrock. I think it's a possibility that this whole thing is built directly on top of the bedrock. That's why so much of it is still standing tall. Now that's the stone row that ends at that possible serpent head. This is across a little notch right here. You have more stonework. And this stonework begins on this huge bedrock outcrop right here. Stone row begins right there on that bedrock, comes to this point right here, and then makes a 9-degree angle and goes up the mountainside here. In front of that is this stone row that starts at this bedrock. I'll show you right down here. Right there. Stonework sits on top of it. And this one has the other triangle shape right there. Noticing that shape a lot in the stonework in this one little area. From that triangle, stonework goes this way to that bedrock outcrop and just ends right there. The triangle is right there. The stonework comes up, curves right on top of this bedrock, and ends right there. This is kind of another common feature in this area, is just these short little bits of stonework that connect bedrock. And next to the road, stonework that doesn't really enclose anything, it just travels along the bedrock, and it has that up and down motion, as you can see right here, as if it's a snake moving across the landscape. More triangles. There's another one right there. Just everywhere around here. It's all kind of triangle shapes. Stonework on top of that bedrock right there. So the stone row begins right there on that bedrock, comes down this way, over more bedrock right there, I'm guessing that's sitting directly on the bedrock, like all the stonework in this area. And giant boulders once again. And the stonework continues into kind of this broken up bedrock area. And it goes around the corner down there. And that stone road that began down there continues down next to the road. Another good example of the stonework sitting on bedrock. And another triangle right there. And right there. And right there. Just the triangle shape is everywhere within the stonework and the stones in it. Where the stonework comes up over the bedrock, it follows this bedrock all the way to the end and connects to it right here. Another interesting feature right there, right where this connects, quartz. That's pretty common to see within ceremonial stone landscapes next to water or bedrock. As well, it looks like a notch, and that's been filled in, or it could be a split, which is a connection to the underworld. And Native Americans would place stones within those splits to block the spirits from coming out from the underworld. Another example of a little bit of stonework that doesn't enclose anything. It's just a little line within the landscape, but it's connected to bedrock. Stonework comes down the boulder, keeps continuing down this way. Kind of an interesting feature up there, a big split boulder. Just a unique feature among the landscape. And stonework just kind of tapers out down this way. Just doesn't really end, it just kind of gets lost within the landscape. As you can see, it just kind of gets overtaken by the land itself, but it continues down. Across this way, there's even more stonework, and that one looks like it ends right at that giant boulder that could represent a serpent head. What's interesting is on this side, like all the other stonework in the area, this is most likely built on bedrock. This side, you can see the height of this stonework. It's fairly tall. But on the back side, it is flushed with the ground. So from this view, it looks like it's just a low stone wall. But this view, it is anything but.